Welcome to Kim and Angela Talk. Kim is a biodynamic craniosacral therapist, PSYCH-K facilitator, curious human, forever student, and a loving mum. Angela is a Reiki master, PSYCH-K facilitator, metaphysical nerd, compulsive learner, and childless cat lady. Come along for the ride as they explore the mysteries of the universe and their own lives, all while enjoying a good laugh together.
Hi, I'm Angela.
And I'm Kim.
And together we're Kim and Angela Talk. And today we are doing a Moonology Oracle card deck review.
Exciting.
It is exciting. I love this deck. This deck comes up often.
I love this deck too, but honestly, currently it actually is starting to come up. It hasn't in the past, but I'm very excited to begin working with it. So,
yeah.
Yay.
Well, you know me, I'm very moon attuned, being a Cancer, and I'm always tracking the moon phases. So it's one of the reasons why I really, really love this deck.
Yeah, you definitely resonate with it.
Oh,
for
absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. And every time it comes up for me in messages, when I'm doing messages for myself, I'm like, "Ooh, yay, Moonology!"
Well, I'm getting more familiar, and I'm excited to be figuring it all out. So, yeah. All right. Well, this deck is brought to you by Yasmin Bolin, is the creator of the deck, and Nyx Rowan is the beautiful artist behind the deck. And there you're going to see some beautiful cards. And I'm just going to say, just talking about review, love also. Oh, there's some more beautiful cards. Oh, beautiful.
Nice one.
Yeah. You can feel the snow. And they definitely, in making the deck, paid attention to detail too. As I've said before with other decks, I love the kind of inside where they decorated as well, which is kind of fun. I just like that. Little details. And also the back. You're showing the front of the cards. I'm going to show the back of the cards, which is lovely with all the different parts of the moon cycle.
So it's just the moon.
Yeah. So they're just... they're lovely, nice, thick cardstock.
Yes.
And so there's 44 different cards in the deck. And it's a lovely deck to work with. And the author of the deck is a astrologer and a moonologer, and is an expert in her field. And so she's really taken her time with the messages that really kind of strictly follow the lines of the astrology and the moon phases together. So she's somebody who knows kind of what she's talking about. So the messages are great. And the booklet, very well done. Like I said, great messages inside as far as her care and putting it all together. And one thing I didn't realize when I was going through the deck, which is my bad, so just letting audience members know as well, the cards are not numbered, which sometimes can be a challenge as far as finding a card when they're not numbered. But in her table of contents, along with instructions on how to use the deck and a little bit more information about different moon phases and working with the cards, she also puts together a lovely index. And so as you pull cards, you can easily go to the index and then quickly find the card in the booklet. So that was just something I missed. I don't know how I missed it, but I just flicking past for the instructions, I missed that part.
And I just want to say real quick, one of the things I appreciate about this deck is like I said, I'm really moon attuned, but I actually learned more about the moon phases and astrology in reading this little book and in using the cards, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, so much more detail. And I know we kind of think of the full moon and what that means, or a new moon, but there's all the little guys in between that do have a massive influence. And so it's really, it is fun to discover new things and explanations for different times. And she even has, you pointed out when we were kind of going over our things, that there's a chart even in here for the key main moon phases, the 8 main moon phases, and keywords that kind of go along with each one of them, which is kind of cool, right? So new moon, clean slate, potential, and dreams. And then the full moon, we know, results forgiveness, gratitude. But then she's also got different ones What was the one that you pointed out that you weren't?
Well, I hadn't heard of a balsamic moon before, actually.
Right.
Which is the phase of the moon right before the new moon, which is the dark moon, which is typically a really great time for healing, going internally for yourself, letting go, Also, just practically a great time for decluttering.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really put it in here, but like say the gibbous moon, which is right before the full moon, is a great time to set intentions for things that you want to manifest in your life. Although I think when you get into the cards itself, there's more about that. When you pull a specific card, it will be a lot of them are either new moon or full moon related to a specific astrological sign, but then she has the special moon phases as well. And she talks about what those moons mean. And it's a really great way to sort of tap into the moon, regardless of what's actually going on in the sky.
Right.
You can still tap into the energy.
Right. Yeah, which is amazing because, you don't need to necessarily be in alignment with it all, that you can just, get the messages that you need to hear anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Energy. Yeah. No, awesome. 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 So she talks about, as we've spoken about in other card decks that we've spoken about, blessing the cards before using them. And she has her own little saying that she has to explain. So that's great as far as an instruction guide for when you get your new deck, to give you an idea if you not familiar with your own blessings or what have you. She's got good indications for that. And also to remember that the moon is, our cosmic guide and a magical timer for how things come about. And she also has an important little note here to, when you draw a card, to really see how you feel, like, go into the feeling of it. It's not just, logical brain and reading the message, but images, evoke a feeling or whatever, and to really kind of pay attention to those. So I think that's good to always remember. And she also talks about reading the cards, with your heart and intuition as much as, again, with your eyes and your brain, that you kind of get into tune with that, which I love as well. So all good stuff.
And also one of the things I love about this, and why I love the moon and paying attention to the phases of the moon, is like, once upon a time, that's how we track time. That's how we track the seasons, and some cultures still do. Like the Chinese year is all based on moon cycles.
Right.
So, and being able to be, especially as women, being tapped into the cycles of the moon, I feel like it gives you extra magical potency to your life, really.
Yeah, it's that nice. Well, the moon is the feminine energy, is it not?
Yes.
I think, right? Yes. So so it's a good thing for, it's awesome. Good for everybody, but particularly potent, for the ladies. So that's great. And I know you know more, so maybe you can talk more to do with this, but she definitely talks about the different moon phases, like we said. And you can do, general just card pulls, and you can ask for guidance with questions. She even says examples like for things with money and love, and if you're feeling confused, to bring clarity. So, and then she breaks it down in the booklet of the moon phase cards, of which there's the 8, and then new moon cards, like you said, that goes with each of the astrological signs, full moon cards, all the astrological signs as well, and then all the interesting kind of special moon card situations are the last ones. And so I love how she breaks that down, so you kind of get a sense for the different things.
Me too. And I also like the fact too that she has in here a bit about the elements and how each of the astrological signs and the elements that they correspond to. Like I'm Cancer, so obviously water, you're Taurus, so earth, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's nice that she puts all these sort of different layers into the information about the card and about where she's getting it from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she explains it all. So it all makes sense if you're not too familiar with things. As far as even the messages themselves, when you get the card reading in the booklet, she has the general kind of explanation, and then the attuned to the moon, so kind of like the very
Mhm.
particular distinct message kind of from the moon, and then additional meanings of the card that might resonate with you, and then the teaching of that phase of the moon.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I like the way that it's, and it's great with the work that we do, so we can tease out what the message in there particularly is. So
Totally.
yeah.
And did you want to talk about the spreads that she
Oh,
put in
yes, definitely. Yes, because I actually, in preparation for this one, decided to do, she's got different layouts. And again, like all card decks, there's, a 3-card spread or a Celtic cross spread, which involves like 10 different cards. So you can do a quite detailed spread. I decided to do the waxing moon 4-card spread. And so waxing moon coming forth off of a new moon versus like they have a full moon 3-card spread. So that's what's falling away, what you need to forgive, all that kind of stuff. But the other one is like kind of what's revving up energy wise in your life. So that's the one I decided to do. So it's 4 cards. The first one being what's rising up in between now and the next full moon for me. Card number 2 is what's the solution to any challenge that I face. Card number 3 is the advice. Card number 4 is the final outcome. And so in playing around with it, I asked a question to do with being able to pay attention to divine guidance and hearing it and seeing
there?
it around and what have you, and just to get some information related to that, because that's kind of something that I'm focusing on lately. And so the first card that came up was surrender to the divine. The first card. And I'm like, okay. Very plain, very simple. Gotcha.
Very on point.
I'm like, that actually, yeah, makes sense. So yeah, so that's a full moon card. So it's a change in a positive way. Life's coming up to a point, so it's kind of like it's right there. Just
Mm.
wait for it. So the second card that I pulled up, what was that it's time to take action, new start, right track, yes from the universe. So it's like, okay, I'm hearing you. And then advice is look at the bigger picture. So this was full moon in Sagittarius. So it was, don't concentrate on all the little details. Look at the bigger picture. Keep an open mind. Life is an adventure. So
Yeah.
that's very expansive. I
Yeah.
like that card. And then the last one was the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon, which again is kind
Nice.
of what we were in, right? So, and that's a positive omen. We can create our reality that we're dreaming. The energy is rising up. It's a very empowering time. So all those really definitely honed right in on that whole divine guidance thing right from the get-go. So I really, really love the messages related to that. So yeah, so the spread was really fun, and I appreciate the fact that you can kind of pick like the theme of the spreads, whether it is kind of near a full moon time or just after the new moon, which is why I did the waxing one, because we had just had the new moon, and kind of to see where that energy momentum is going, and
Yeah.
so I found that quite cool. So yeah, I was very impressed.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like normally I kind of look at where the moon is in my house for new moons and full moons, and I kind of think about my rituals of what I'm going to do around that moon phase according to that. But now that we're reviewing this deck, I think I'm going to combine that with pulling a card from this deck now.
Yeah,
Just, for kicks. And then
exactly.
and she has the little descriptions of all the spreads in here and stuff. So, and the 3-card spread and everything. So it's great, and most Oracle decks do that, so just being able to play with that is just real fun, and also to see like how the different authors use them as well.
Yeah. And they all have their particular flavor based on like the
Mhm.
theme of the deck, right? So you get just that little different of an element.
Yeah, like the Celtic Cross is a traditional tarot deck
Mhm.
spread.
Mhm.
So, just using that in the Oracle decks. Well, and we often pull like a one card for a message for the podcast that we do, and also for just other stuff that we do in our lives. And so for me today, I got this card. Luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. And it was extremely appropriate because on my way to my office to film this, I witnessed a car accident happen right in front of me. And talking about luck being on my side, the literally happened, right there. And you could imagine, like, what if that car had spun out and like hit me,
Right.
or whatever.
Right. Oh my
And
goodness.
thankfully nobody was seriously hurt. I stayed around, I gave the guy my information for witness, talked to the police and all that stuff. And it was interesting because it's like, here's this like thing that happens that's so triggering and also just like, had the potential to be so much worse.
Right.
Not just for me, but for everybody involved.
Right.
So yeah, getting this card, when I pulled this card for the the Oracle deck review, I was like, yeah, luck really is on my side today.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh gosh.
I know. And some of the other meanings that really jumped out for me from this card when I was looking at it is like, this can mark the start of something fun after a period of feeling low. And as you know, I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and that can put me down into like a lower energy field and just feeling kind of like going through that process of healing and releasing. So receiving this card after going through that period, I was like, that's also really appropriate and it'd be awesome, especially with summer coming up. Yeah, I would love to have a period of, something fun coming into my life. So hello.
Good time.
Right?
Good time. Yeah.
Right. And then also another message that really came out for me from this card is whatever happens next will be some sort of gift. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. Right.
Nice. Yes.
And like we were talking about, she gives you a little bit more information about the signs. And one of the things for this sign, she talks about Sagittarius being the sign of fun, travel, and exploration, and the great cosmic quest, and that the energy is very expansive and upbeat. And I'm sure if there's any Sagittariuses out there listening, they're like, yeah, of course we are. Yeah, I'm owning that, right?
Yeah.
And the final message from this card that I really took for myself was an optimistic energy could attract all manner of good things if you tap into the energy by expecting the best. Nice. And that is also something that we do talk about, setting that intention and putting that positive energy out there so that what you're getting back is also really positive. So I very much appreciated this card today.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, right?
Beautiful. Awesome.
So, and what about you? You pulled a specific card for today too, right?
I did. And it's one that came up the other day. Like you said, sometimes we do card pulls and at the end of the day, sometimes I will just go and say, is there a mess? And I was particularly focusing on this deck because we were going to be reviewing it. And so the other night, 2 days ago, maybe, I asked if there was a priority message for me. And this card came up. And so today when I was pulling a card for myself, it came up again. And I'm like, so maybe I need to listen to the message. So I got specific. I had read the whole thing. But today I said, is there a particular part? And so I'll tell you what that one is. But here's the card that came up for me a second time.
Oh, nice.
So for our audience members, a time to give rather than take, new moon in Virgo. Yeah. And I love the color. Went with our previous one of again, all the earth colors and all the green and unconditional love. Love that too. Yeah. So my particular message that came up from that, it was very specific. It was one line and it was recommit to healthy morning and evening routines. Get your life in order. So I've been told 2 times. Don't know that I really wanted to hear it the first time. Not quite sure about the second time, but yeah, it's funny. I've been thinking that I need to get back to, we had done our Qigong exercises in the morning time, which is a very lovely way of starting the day and also getting to bed earlier. So I think it's not far off from yes, that's what I needed to hear. Yeah. So,
well, honestly, I feel like that applies to almost everybody, and I'm kind of like, oh, that might be a little bit of a message for me too, because they were actually, as today, later, the moon will be going into Virgo later today for at least 2
really?
days. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, Virgo moons are excellent time to do organizational, anything health related, anything home related, anything about organization and cleaning, decluttering, stuff like that. Virgo moons tend to be so productive. So really awesome that this kind of
Came up. It was appropriate time.
a message for committing to routine. Cause I started doing a detox, kind of like heavy metal cleanse detox thing. Got a little sidetracked from that. So I was like, oh, maybe that message is also for me.
Well, it's never too late to go back, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So no, so I was like I said, pleased but not pleased, but pleased. So again, they know what they're talking about. So
yeah, and so for the audience, I pulled a card for the audience, and it's this one, full moon eclipse. So this is one of the special moon cards, and it's in the third part of the book, because it's like there's, I think, special moons or certain moon phases, then it's the new moons, the full moons, and then the special moon. So this is one of the special moons, is the full moon eclipse. Yeah, and it's a gorgeous picture. I love the moon just looks so amazing in this, and the bare trees, and it looks like snow's falling. So I do really love the artwork in this deck. And the message for this really is pertinent to anybody who's listening, and it's that change is a part of life, and this card reminds you of that fact. Yeah, and it can also give you a glimpse into the shadow. So if you were working with this deck and you pulled this, it might be a time to look at your shadow self, to look at work with the darkness, work with that aspect of yourself that maybe you don't really like looking into all the time. So, and see what that brings up for you, and where you can do some healing around that or letting go around that. Because after the full moon, of course, is when it starts to wane, and that's traditionally the time when you want to start letting things go.
Right.
And another thing, it says that it portends change, but as we said, change is a part of life.
Yep.
Can't get around it.
Honest change.
Yeah. So I think that's a great message for pretty much anybody. And again, here's another. This is funny because I just pulled this and split the deck in half.
Expect powerful change. There you go.
Right.
Yep.
And because the art, I just really love the moon, and the art of this deck is really something. Here's a good one: new moon in Capricorn.
Oh, gorgeous.
So your hard work is paying off. Capricorns tend to be hard workers. I don't know if you know any Capricorns, but they tend to be a little bit, very much good work ethic, and maybe work a little bit too hard sometimes. Oh, here's a good one for you: new moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. So these are the cards with the signs and stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then let's see what else. Where's another good deck? Oh, here's a good one: full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches.
Cool.
Yeah, who doesn't like a good fiery climax?
There you go. Exactly.
Right. Here's a good one. Here's another one of the special moons, the mutable moon. Nothing yet is set in stone. So the artwork's great. The messages are great. I mean, you get the message on the card, but then you go deeper when you look at the description for the card when you go in there. So I love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks, I have to say. I think I might say that about more than a few decks. But you can have more than one favorite.
You can for sure. Favorite of the day, favorite of the hour.
Right. Well, and sometimes it's just exactly what you need. And sometimes one of the things that I really love about this is because, sometimes you want the energy of the full moon or the new moon or something, but that's not what's actually happening in the sky. So you can go through and pull the thing and really connect to the energy just by using it as a visual.
Yeah, definitely.
And here's full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. We can only hope.
Mm-hmm.
And there's my crab self up in the moon. So that's me. That's where I live most of the time.
There you go. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So the art's great. The messages are lovely. Oh, here's a good one. I think, or did we already do this? The gibbous moon. You're very close to reaching your goal.
Oh, no. Well, I think we talked about it, but not really, like we didn't show the card. So, yeah.
So yes, I mean, like, oh, here's a great message for also everybody. Have faith in your dreams. The waxing crescent moon.
Nice. Oh, that's pretty too. It reminds me like spring, summer with all the flowers and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Very nice.
So, and of course, spring is waxing energy. So because we're coming up to the solstice. So yeah, I don't know. I really love this deck. I highly recommend it. She does have other decks, but we're focusing on this one. We'll do her other deck at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, I'd say thumbs up for me.
Yes, thumbs up for me too. New discovery, because I've had it. It just hasn't come up for messaging for me. So I haven't really worked with it, but I've gained a massive appreciation since looking at the deck, the instructions, and doing the spread for myself and today as well. Be bold and make the first move. Cardinal moon. Very nice.
I'm a cardinal. Cancers are a cardinal sign. So.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And yeah, sometimes that gets me in a little trouble, but
what,
no, we should start doing little kitty cats for a rating, like 5 kitty cats. I'll give this deck 5 kitty cats.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah.
So, anyway, so yeah, this is the Moonology Oracle cards. And anything else you want to say about this deck?
Like I said, new discovery for getting in depth into this deck, and I've really, really gained massive appreciation for it. And I love the art, and I love the deck, and so well done.
Yeah. And I love it, and it's the energy of it is great. The messages are great. There's always something. One of the things I do like, the messages aren't too long, but they're very pertinent and they're succinct. Yes. And there's different. You can use the attune to the moon as an affirmation, or just something to kind of get you into that energy. Use that phrase or sentence or two that she has in the attune to the moon for the card as like part of that, as well as just going a little bit deeper.
Right. So, yeah. No, very, very, very good deck. Awesome.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Yasmin Bolin. 5 Kit Kats from Angela. Okay. Well, this has been the Moonology Oracle card deck review by Kim and Angela Talk. And we just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe below. And we appreciate you, and you have a really lovely day.
And you're awesome. Thank you.
Hey.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Kim and Angela talk. Please like and subscribe below. To book sessions with Kim, visit keycranio.com. To book sessions with Angela, visit thisreikilife.com. Thank you.